Host to the Formula One Grand Prix, Silverstone is one of the world's most famous racetracks. The full circuit is 3.6 miles long with a challenging mix of high speed and medium corners. It's the perfect place to trial the video VBOX, a driver analysis system that uses in-car cameras and telemetry to evaluate and develop performance. Designed specifically for motorsport, the ultimate goal of the VBOX is to help significantly reduce lap times. Having raced sports cars all over the world, including at Daytona and the Le Mans 24 Hours, Nigel Greensall is a professional race instructor, and today he's using VBOX technology to help Jonathan Davis understand how to become more competitive around Silverstone.
I definitely think that there are some areas I can work on. I think turning into cops a bit early. I'm finding I'm exiting that too early and therefore having to lift at the exit. I've always felt as well that I could be into Stowe more quickly, and I can't quite work out why I can't turn in quickly enough there. And definitely at Beckett's Maggots, the first bit's all right, but I'm having to lose too much speed through the second part. Those are the main areas. I think also at the Vale, the exit to that and the entry through the long curve onto the start-finish straight doesn't feel clean and tidy. Apart from that, not too bad.
We've started to make some progress, and we've also identified areas to work on. So there's things like the actual precision of the driving, so where he's placing the car, and it's from there that we can then start working on the entry speed to various corners, and also then from the apex, also the exit speed for the various corners. So having done the first sessions, we've now identified the areas to work on. So we're now going to go and work with the circuit tools on the video VBOX. We can overlay the videos between my driving and Jonathan's driving and actually quantify exactly where we're gaining or losing time and what are the most important areas to work on.
So what we've done, we've brought up the session that you've done, Jonathan, and the session that I've done. What the circuit tools always does is just highlights the fastest actual lap, and that synchronises the video, and that's the one that we'll start to use. And then it's done the same with the run that I've done. So both of us actually did 4 flying laps on the run. The beauty of having the circuit tools and the sector times is that we can make sure that the lap we're looking at is relevant in terms of all of the sectors. And so what we'll do is, as we go through your 4 laps, there's various sectors that are your best.
So we can.
And so we'll jump from lap to lap, and then we'll use that as a reference. So on the approach, so I've got a higher top speed on the approach, and that'll be from the exit point of Brooklands Luffield Complex. So I've gained some time on the approach. The actual braking point for both of us, you can see we're both going on the brakes. Looking at the G here, look, you can see we're both on the brakes at the same point. As we come up towards Maggots, it's 6 miles an hour difference.
And that's as a result of the exit speed through Cops.
Yeah. So we're heading across to the left-hand side, into the apex on the left.
Going too wide, aren't you?
And look how straight the steering is for me, and you've still got that little bit of lock.
And that's because, so it's actually to do with positioning from before, isn't it? Because I've got that lock on because I'm trying to make this apex. And if the car was straighter before, then okay.
So your basic line is very good, but I've carried a lot more speed into that bit, and now I'm using more left-hand curve. Look.
It's only on the video you appreciate the steering angle, isn't it? Because the line looks the same, the entry speed's about the same. But actually, it's that steering angle that makes the difference between.
And that's why it's always important on the video to be able to see what the driver's doing with the steering wheel.
Yeah. So it's that overlay, isn't it, between the trace. If you only had the trace, it'd be really hard to tell what's going on there.
Coming down the hanger straight. Brake point's the same place. So we're onto the brakes the same, but you're braking much harder. Pulling 1.2G and I'm pulling 0.9.
Right.
Yep. And this is the area, when we were watching the video, and I was saying as you come down hanger straight, it's going downhill, and just to get to the corner, it starts to climb.
Yeah.
And that's the trick, is when you're looking at any corner, don't treat it just as a right and left, but the fact that if there's a camber change or it's climbing or falling, that'll affect how the car brakes.
So you can afford to brake more gently there because the hill takes care of some of the speed.
Yeah, okay. And it's a strange sensation because on the approach you're going downhill, so you feel as though you're gaining speed faster and faster and faster. And of course, just at the critical moment, the track starts to climb, and that will help you with your braking.
I think you've carried almost 10 miles an hour more at that point.
That's it, just because we've gone on the brakes the same
Yeah.
place, but I've braked lighter.
Having reviewed the footage and identified the areas where he needs to improve, Jonathan heads back out onto the circuit. It's now time to put the theory to the test.
It felt a lot quicker. It felt as though I was carrying a lot more speed, particularly into Stowe, through Beckett's, Maggots and through Chapel, which are important corners because they lead onto the Hanger Straight, and certainly from the gear shift it looks as though we were quicker at the end of the Hanger Straight than we have been this morning. I'm pretty confident that that was better. By how much I don't know, and we'll certainly need to look at the video VBOX and the circuit tools to find out what exactly we've done.
So these are the best laps from the morning and afternoon.
Right.
Okay, so starting from the start-finish straight that we've got here. And they'll play in real time, so one will start getting ahead of the other, but I'll do a pause from time to time once we see, so you can see the much better apex.
Yeah.
A little wide on the exit, but already ahead. So I'll do a pause and reset. So I'll wait until we get out onto the bridge. Here we go. So I'm going to reset it at the bridge.
Okay.
So that's the beauty of circuit tools. We just reset the video, and now it'll play
so
in
it's
real time
completely
again
synchronised, yeah.
from that point on the circuit. So we're down Hanger Straight, down into Stowe Corner, both laps completely clear. So let's have a look at the difference. Let's see what progress we made during the afternoon. Sweeping in, much higher speed. Look at this.
Yeah, hugely different. 10, 12 miles an hour faster.
Yeah, look at that.
That's
So by the time you get to the next
to the
gantry.
bridge, so we're 11 miles an hour quicker by the time we get to the gantry, which is only about 300 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge step forward, really is. So let's have a look at Vale, because again, we've got a nice clear run coming down into Vale. I'm going to pause it as we turn into the corner.
10 miles an hour
10 miles an hour faster turning into
the
Vale.
corner. Yeah.
And that was the area that
Yeah.
it's funny with a circuit like this where you've got such big fast corners, but actually Vale, which is one of the slowest corners on the whole lap, this morning we've discovered that there was half a second.
Yeah, it was
to
0.6
gauge.
this morning, wasn't it? I didn't realise that you could lose so much time in such a short and such a slow corner as well.
It
It's
looks
incredible.
insignificant.
No,
doesn't
it looks completely
But
insignificant.
actually,
0.6 of a second.
Look what you've
Yeah.
found, 10 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And this morning it felt like you're on the limit.
Yes, exactly. And this afternoon it felt as though there was more, provided you turn in, and the point you made this morning was you've got to get the turning point right. If you get that turning point right, you can carry that speed and the car will just scrub it off.
So we'll look at the right hand as we go into Club. Still 3 miles an hour, so you've gained 10 miles an hour through Vale,
Yeah.
but you've not lost on the exit or
Yeah.
into Club. So a significant gain all the way through.
And we're accelerating more quickly as well.
And now, 9 miles an hour faster coming out.
So just again in a very short distance. And that's because the speed was carried through both corners.
That's it. And also,
Oh, well, it started at Vale, I suppose, did
it
it?
started at Vale because you were 10 miles an hour faster through, but also because we'd changed your line into Club, it meant that then the car was much more balanced.
Yeah.
And so you're then able to accelerate sooner, and that feeds into your speed
All the way
through Club. And now as we turn in, so you're now 5 miles an hour faster turning into Abbey.
Turning in, yeah.
Yep, and much more positive on the steering. See how much more
The steering
lock
angle is
you've applied.
completely different, isn't it? though?
Yes, yeah.
There's consistently 9, 10, 11 miles an hour quicker
Yeah.
at the turn in and the exit of every corner.
So here we go through the King. So 6 miles an hour faster
Yeah,
at the next King. And that is giving you the speed out onto Wellington Straight.
yeah, and I think we hit the apex earlier, didn't we? So we did hit it there, but it was too late, I think.
That's it. And so now you're pulling away all the way down the straight. So
Yeah,
let's see what
so
speeds we've got under the bridge.
6 miles an
Still
hour over
6
the bridge.
miles an hour.
Yeah, and
And,
probably.
and that's sort of, when you gain coming out of a corner onto a long straight, it's almost like it's free speed.
Yeah.
Because, and free extra lap time, because you're just gaining all the way
All
down
you
the
do
straight.
is leave your foot on the accelerator
Yeah.
and you gain time.
We've been much more positive. Let's have a look at the speed going in.
Oh, that's incredible.
The
So
9
that's
miles
9
an hour
miles,
faster.
and that's really important because that leads directly onto the straight, doesn't it? It's really interesting because when you look at entry speed, apex speed, and exit speed, it's without looking at the video, it's really difficult to tell why the first two. I was looking at yours this morning.
Yeah.
My time and my speed and your speed at entry and apex were similar, yet your exit speed was 15 miles an hour faster, and you can see it's just that's where it is.
Yes.
It's that turn in.
That's it. And it's been very positive on this corner in the middle. and then getting the steering wheel as straight as possible towards the exit, which is what you've achieved this afternoon.
Yeah.
By the end of the lap, 7 miles an hour faster.
Yeah.
So, massive gains.
Thank you. That's incredible. It is incredible.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's
it really has.
Really good.
We found 12 seconds, and if you glue together the theoretical best lap times, 12 seconds from this morning, and the real lap times, a 2:27 was the quickest this morning and a 2:20 this afternoon. And it's looking at the circuit tools, it's just helped me to drive much more precisely. So carrying on average 10 miles an hour more speed into most of the corner entries, 10 to 12 miles an hour more on the exits, and by the end of the long straights, the effect of that is again 20 odd miles an hour. So the time gain is incredible, but it was really interesting looking at the data and the video together, because that's what enables you to find those time differences. The data on its own is useful, but you can't explain how helpful it is to be able to see the video and then compare my laps with Nigel's. For example, being able to compare the steering angles and the inputs that I'm putting into the wheel versus him, that was the key to a lot of what I found today, and that you can't find from data. You can only look at that on the video and see it linked to the data traces. So yeah, it's an extraordinary tool, I think. I wouldn't have believed today if somebody said you could find that amount of time. I wouldn't have believed it. I really wouldn't.